Hello friends, I'm Rosa, welcome. So today we are talking about books yet again. We're talking about books that I have very specifically chosen for this video. Books that I could choose so many books in my collection for this kind of video, but I want to talk about books that I am kind of scared to read, to start, but that I think I'll love once I do get started with them. If that makes sense. I feel like that makes sense. These are the books that I always say, I'm saving it for a rainy day. The thing is, rainy days just don't really... I always come up with something to read, and so I always skip these. And it's bad, and I shouldn't do it, because I have so many books like this. So, like even just in this picture, you can see the Oleander Sword, A Fire Endless as well. Over here we have Lord of Shadows. That one could be on this list too. I don't know what's going on over there, but you know, so many books in my collection that I could start and then I don't, and I find something else on KU to read and entertain me instead, and it's bad. So we're gonna talk about those kind of books today. I'm sure you know what kind of books I am talking about. They'll all be listed too in the description box down below if you want to check them out, because I know that my summaries get a little bit chaotic and they're a little bit all over the place. And also, I have not read these books, although some of them are sequels, but if I haven't read the books and I have to summarize them, it's even worse. So I'll make sure to link to all of them in the description box down below. Now, let's get started. So this one, and actually also the next one, have been on my TBR a couple of times this year. It is also on my 24 books I need to read in 2024 video, or list, or challenge, whatever you want to call it, which by the way, I need to start. No, we're in October, I can wait a little bit. I was like, I'm gonna get prepared for 2025. There is still like a quarter of the year left. I don't know why I'm in such a hurry, but this has been on my to read list several times this year, and I've still not gathered up the courage to get started with it. As someone who loved Fourth Wing, this is Iron Flame by Rebecca Yarros, by the way. As someone who loved Fourth Wing, I am just scared, terrified that this doesn't live up to the love I had for the first book. I also think I have seen people be a little bit disappointed with this, but I've also seen people basically living their best life reading it, so it could go either way. Like, it could go bad or good. Like, I don't know what to do with this, but also I'm terrified of what's happening with the characters in the book as well, because I feel like nobody's really safe, maybe with the exception of the first two the two lead characters. However, I don't even know if they're safe, because this is gonna be a long series. So like, maybe Violet is good, but like, is Satan good? Like, I don't know. A lot could happen. So anyway, in the first book, we follow Violet, who is... She's supposed to have been a scribe, but then on the day that I think it's the day, or at least like close to the start of the trials to become a dragon rider, her mom is like, yeah, never mind, you're not gonna become a scribe anyway. I'm gonna send you to the dragon rider trials, and good luck, because people die during those trials. People who have practiced and trained for the trials still don't make it, and Violet was supposed to be an academic scribe. So she partakes. It's dangerous, and it's even more dangerous because, for her specifically, because there's a guy there who's trying to kill her, and there's another guy who as well does not like her one bit, and he's one of the leaders, and he's like set on making this hell for her. And then also there's a lot of like rebel stuff and weird things going on at this academy that she's going to, and kind of found family vibes as well, I want to say, but like secret stuff, things that will be unveiled at the end of the book. I'm not telling you what it is. Well, throughout the book, not at the end of it. There's a whole lot. Ended on a cliffhanger that I am so not happy with. I actually think I read the first page of this at the bookstore in one of their copies, and then I was like, oh, I gotta start reading it when I come back, and then I started another book, so you know that happened. But anyway, Iron Flame is on that list. So, another book kind of in the same sort of vein as Iron Flame that I'm sure that I've also sort of featured on in another video like this, unless it might have been book 2. This is book 3, House of Flame and Shadow. I've still not read it. Don't come for me. Don't. It's fine. Listen, this has been a thing the entire year, and I am scared. I love Sarah J. Maas's books so much, but I am terrified. I am so nervous that the ending... I even have tabs in this book because I've been so ready to read it and then just been like, you know what? Let's just go read something else. I don't know. Oh right, I've read the prologue to this as well. It's the exact same situation. I can't really fully easily tell you what the heck is going on here because it's a whole... It's a lot. This is the third book. They're all pretty thick as well, so there's a lot going on, but what happens in this one probably has nothing to do with what happens in book one anyway. But I'm gonna tell you a little bit because we follow Bryce Quinlan, who lives in Crescent City, or Lunathion, I think it's called. And she's living her best life. She's partying every day. She is close to becoming an immortal, making the drop, as they call it, which is something they do at 25. They basically stop evolving or growing or getting older. They just stop. And so she's getting closer to that day and she's just living her best life. And then one night after having been out, she goes home and finds most of her friends dead, slaughtered. To put it bluntly. Was that a bit too blunt? I'm sorry. And so essentially what the first one is, it's sort of like a murder mystery, but there's definitely something else going on in the background as well. So the police ends up asking Bryce to help them with the investigation because the person that they found and put in jail for the murder of her friends, he's still in jail when the same kind of murders start to pick up a little while after the initial murders. So it can't be him. Or can it? Who knows? Well, I know. I actually don't remember, but I know. Oh my god, they're talking. This is so weird. Oh my god. Anyway, yeah. I don't know. I don't know. I'm just scared because I can't tell you. Go read the books if you want to know. Like, I can't tell you. But I'm just scared because, you know, I'm scared. I'm a scaredy cat. I am just a terrified person. This next one is actually due to my friend. Oh, I have taps in this one too. Wow. Gotta silently sit here and judge myself. The Book Thief by Marcus Zuzak, which is historical fiction, twist of fantasy in it as well. It takes place during the Second World War, where we follow Death. Oh, in Germany, I should add. We follow Death and this little girl, and that is basically all I know. But I have a friend who's like, you're gonna love that book. And then she tried to convince me to read it. I was going to read this, I think in 2022, in December. I told myself, you're gonna read it, and then I didn't dare pick it up. And then she was like, okay, well, in 2023, you're gonna read it. So I was like, yes, I'm definitely putting it on my TBR in December 2023, which I did. But then I didn't dare start. And now she's like, oh, so you still haven't read it? I'm like, no, I still have not read it. Whoops. But I'm just a little bit scared because this is a very well-loved book. And what if I'm the person who doesn't like it? Like that would make me feel like there's something wrong with me, you know? Why does mine have wrinkles on this? I've definitely not read. Who did this to my book? Someone did something to my book and I'm not having it. It has wrinkles on the spine. It looks like I've read it though. I don't know. I haven't. Have I? I don't think so. Anyway, yeah, so we'll see if I manage to gather up the courage to read this in December 2024 because I think my friend is kind of running out of patience, if you will. Patience. We have one kind of like similar situation as book 1 and 2. It's The Inadequate Heir of Danielle L. Jensen. Not exactly the same situation. This is romantasy and new adult-ish romantasy. And it's the third one in a series. It's the third one in the Bridge Kingdom series. The thing is, the first two works as a duology, so you follow Lara and Aaron, and this moves on to two other characters, and I believe one of them, this is Lara's brother, I think. I can't remember exactly who this is, but they show up in the second book. So at some point, I will not tell you, but at some point. And I loved the first duology. So moving into this new part of the world, new part of the Bridge Kingdom is, it makes me a bit nervous. Because what if I don't like the characters? Like, I liked Lara and Aaron. What if I don't like them? You know, but what if I don't like them? Then I'm going to be stuck with them. See, I get it when people say, well, I feel a little bit nervous about A Court of Silver Flames because I don't like Nesta. I get it. I don't dislike Nesta. I like Nesta. I understand Nesta. So I didn't feel the exact same way, but like I get the whole, oh, it's a whole new character. What if I just don't like it? This is how this is this. But I really loved the first two books, so I have high hopes. This is also like twice as thick It's basically the first and the second book put together. I just saw something that I was not supposed to see. Anyway. And also, I believe that the fourth one, Endless War, is actually already out. I think. Don't quote me on it, because I don't know. And then seemingly there's gonna be more after this as well, or after the Endless War as well. And they're gonna have new covers, because these are these are indie versions, and why? But that's a whole different talk. Anyway, I'm nervous. I didn't even tell you what the Bridge Kingdom was about, but this is not about this is not about Laura and Aaron, though. I'll quickly tell you though. It's enemies to lovers. It takes place in the Bridge Kingdom. So Lara has been trained to be an assassin her whole life, and she is sent off to marry Aaron, who owns or like is the leader of the Bridge Kingdom. And the Bridge Kingdom, she's sent off to marry him, to kill him, so her father or whoever it is can take over the Bridge Kingdom, because owning the Bridge Kingdom is very lucrative because you kind of control the trades in this world. So that's what it's about when she gets there. She's been taught, by the way, that Aaron is a complete monster. But when she gets there, she learns some things both about Aaron but also about the Bridge Kingdom that kind of makes her second guess her whole life's mission. So, and I don't know what this is about. Or I feel like I kind of know, but I can't fully remember. This one is just, yeah. We got Binding 13. This is definitely by Chloe Walsh, which is, it's one of those like, it's a romance, but there's a whole lot else. It's not a rom-com kind of romance. Romance can be a lot of things. I'm saying this because I specifically saw a thread on this not so long ago. Someone was complaining about people calling books like this romances, but romances are more than just rom-coms. Romances can also be sad. Romances is just love stories that have happy endings, specifically have happy endings, so they can be a lot of things. It's also important for you to do your own research before you jump into books. So if all you know about them is that they're romances, then you have a lot of triggers, or just a few. You don't have to have a lot. It's important that you do your own research and make sure that the book actually is a match for you. It's a fit for you. Does that make sense? That said, I don't actually know what this is about. So, I don't know, because I've not really read the synopsis. I saw that this was super, super popular at some point, and I decided to just jump in. I believe, all in the series, by the way. I don't know what they're about. They're so thick and I'm so nervous. A sports star and a shy new girl at the school. So we'll see though. We will see. We'll see. Oh, as a side note, by the way, when I say like do your own research, it applies to all books. Because I also saw a thread recently where someone was complaining about people calling romantasy fantasy books. I actually had to say something because it felt kind of degrading to romantasy books. But the thing is, fantasy is just like an umbrella term. Technically, fantasy and sci-fi fall under speculative fiction. So like romantasy, urban fantasy, magical realism, what else can we come up with? A lot of paranormal fantasy, whatever. All falls under fantasy, which means that romantasy is also fantasy. So if someone's making recommendations based on fantasy and they list a lot of romantasy books, they're not wrong. But if you don't want to read books with romance, you maybe should make sure to read up whether or not these fantasy books have romance in them or not. You know? Like, don't just blindly follow advice and recommendations from people on the internet. Hi. Except mine. Okay. I mean, no. That was a joke. We're moving on. Muse of Nightmares. I believe this is actually also on my 2024 list. And I'm terrified because I've freaking loved Strange the Dreamer. Like, where is it? I loved Strange the Dreamer. It's right. I thought it was the wrong shelf for a second. It's YA, but it feels very mature in the writing, and it's very lyrical, it's very poetic, it's very atmospheric, it's very vibey, and just so beautiful, and I really enjoyed it. So I'm nervous that the sequel won't live up to how I felt about the first one, and that's why I haven't read it yet. So in the first one, we follow Laszlo Strange, who is an orphan. He has grown up basically like in or close to or like something like that. At a library, he is obsessed as well with this place that they call Weep because they can't actually remember the name of this place. It's very odd. I don't know. Something has happened there. I'm not going to tell you what. I'm not going to give you too many details and stuff, but something's happened. There's a flying mechanical bird or something above the city as well. Things are very strange in Weep. And Laszlo Strange is obsessed with that place to the point where he's even learned, despite never having been there, he has learned the language that they speak in Weep. That is just, that's dedication. That's dedication. Anyway, so when I forgot what his title is, but he's a man, arrives at this place, he's looking for people that he can bring with him to Weep because they have to do some research and some stuff. He picks out Laszlo. Laszlo is basically desperate to go, and so he gets to go. And when he gets to Weep, things are indeed weird, very strange. But also, he's having nightmares of this blue girl and moths, and that's all I'm gonna give you. He's stunning, by the way. What a beautiful, beautiful man. I very much love these covers. I'm obsessed. They're the same, it's the same artist that did these, by the way. Same artist. How cool is that? I'm pretty sure they're the same artist. Anyway, so that's not where they belong. Muse of Nightmares. Yes. I will love you though. I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure I'll love it. Anyway, moving on. We got, how many more? Apparently, we're halfway. This one is another one that's actually on my 24 and 2024 challenge. That's part of that challenge. Whoa. The dust jacket did not want to stay on for this one. Romantic fantasy. Oh, okay, interesting. The Fragile Threats of Power by V.E. Schwab. I love V.E. Schwab. V.E. Schwab has not done a whole lot of wrong things to me, and as in like writing wise, that sounded weird. I don't know why I phrased it like that. And this is a continuation of one of her series, which is A Darker Shade of Magic. So that's a trilogy, and she's, at least, I think this is also going to be a new trilogy, but like added on to that, so it would probably be a good idea to read A Darker Shade of Magic before moving into this one. The thing is, I love The Darker Shade of Magic so much, so if this is like not close enough to that, if the vibe has changed, if, I don't know, the characters, like something happens to the characters, because I know that some of them will show up in this, and I don't necessarily feel like they're safe, I'm gonna be very sad. There could be a whole lot of things that could go wrong, and I would be very, very sad. I don't know if the synopsis for A Darker Shade of Magic is relevant to this one, but just to give you a few pointers, we are in London, but we're specifically in Red London, because London is, the whole situation is weird. There's 3 Londons, there used to be 4. So we have Grey London, which is kind of like magicless. It's kind of grey. We have White London, where magic is basically taken it's siphoned the life out of everything. Like everything is white-ish. It's just, it's gone too far, basically. And then there's Red London, where everything is nicely balanced, everything is beautiful, and magic is flourishing, but not too much. Not too much. There was a 4th London, which was called Black London, but Black London does not exist anymore because magic went, too crazy. And we follow Kel, who is an Antari, I believe that's the name for them, so he can travel between Londons. He is also smuggling artifacts between Londons, which he's not supposed to do. And on a visit to Grey London to do his smuggling business, he bumps into our lead girl, whose name I cannot remember. I feel like it starts with an N. It does not, it starts with an L. Lila, who finds out what he's doing and is like, okay, well, bring me to Red London. I don't want to be here. So that's where I'm gonna leave you. But like, there's a lot going on with the different Londons and threads going on in various places and stuff. It was nicely like wrapped up, so I'm a bit like, well, how 7 years later? Oh, I forgot that thing happened. I forgot that happened. Okay, so we are actually following the same characters. See this? I'm scared. And then there's a new one whose name is Tess, which means that she's gonna be the lead character, and the others are basically secondary characters, and secondary characters are not safe. Anyway, I'm struggling. I'm moving on. Oh, also, definitely fantasy. Bit of a romance in there. It said romantic fantasy on the back, but I feel like romantic fantasy these days is more like romantasy. So I'll say fantasy with some romance in there. We have The Way of Kings. I know I included this in the last video I did like this. The thing is, I actually did start it. When I lived in my old apartment, I started this. This is high fantasy as fuck. Brandon Sanderson, by the way. But I started this. I did start it. And I'm a fair bit into it, as you can probably tell. This is one of my book. I've split it up to take nice chunks out of the book, and then I read it religiously. Might I just add, enjoyed every second of it. But the thing is that this book is so heavy that I don't want to read it in bed, which is where I would usually read. So I had to sit at my desk and read it with my lights on and with the computer on and everything. And then I don't know if you guys remember, but there was, and I don't know if it's actually improved elsewhere, but it has improved here. But there was a time when certain world events kind of influenced the cost of electricity quite a lot. Like my electricity bill went up like, it was 4 times as much as it is right now. So I was like, okay, and it went on for months. So I was like, okay, as soon as I'm done with work, we're closing down the computer. We're basically just like lighting up candles everywhere in the apartment, and I'm just gonna read on the couch or in bed. And so I put this on pause, and then because I'm scared, I never picked it up again. But I gotta do that thing where I sit at my computer a little bit after work and read. I'll probably have to start over with it. The thing is just, I am scared, and now I'll like have to gather up courage again to start it again. It was so good what I read of it though. Like I was enjoying every moment of it, and I have to remind myself that you'll enjoy it when you start it again. But yeah, that was a wild time, by the way. The electricity bills were crazy. They've gotten better here, but I feel for you guys that still haven't, if there are places in the world where they've not improved, I feel for you, okay? But yeah, The Way of Kings. I cannot summarize this. I don't know. A lot of kings and prophecies and politics and rich people and not rich people and prisoners and a whole lot of stuff going on. Magic. Magic. I'm super excited to know more about the magic system in this universe. And the 5th book is coming out soon in December. How exciting. I have the first 4. They're down here, the other 3, so I'm like confident that I'll love it. As a fantasy girly, I am confident that I'll love it. Just need to find time to read it and like gather up the courage. Another one, we have Empire of the Damned by J. Kristoff, which is the sequel to Empire of the Vampire, which I gave 5 stars. So the reason that I haven't started this yet, the reason that I'm scared of this is because I'm so afraid that I won't love it as much as I loved Empire of the Vampire. I did actually start this. I got it on Libby, and I was like reading a little bit of it at gym, or at the gym, but I can read like 10 pages at the gym while I'm there for like 1.5 hours, so it wasn't really working out that well, and I had to return it. So that tactic did not work out, because I don't know if you guys can tell, but that's a whole lot of gym sessions before I've managed to read that book. It would be like 70 gym sessions, and that's gonna take a while. Much longer than Libby will actually let me borrow the book for. I'm not reading this edition, this is too pretty. This is a Lumicrate special edition, so we're not doing that. But I'll gather up the courage again. Maybe the next time I'll figure it out. But like, I'm scared. I'm terrified. I forgot to tell you what Empire of the Vampire is about, but I'll let you guys know quickly. So we follow Gabriel de Leon, who is the last living Silver Saint. And that means he's the last living vampire hunter in a world that is terrorized by vampires. They have this thing going on that's called, what's it called? It's not, I want to call it Evernight because of Nevernight. That's not what it's called. Day's Death, I think, is what the term for it is. Basically, it's never really day, which is not optimal for us humans. You know, we have to grow things. We need D vitamin stuff, or vitamin D. But the vampires are thriving because the sun's not coming out. So the humans are very much in need of a Silver Saint to help them out. However, Gabriel is the last one, and unfortunately for the humans, he's also been taken prisoner by vampires. And as we start the book, he is in prison and telling his story about how he became a Silver Saint and how he went on the search for the Holy Grail to end Dace's death, and all the characters that he met on the way, and all the chaos that happened as well, and a little bit of a love story too. And I'm moving on. I don't want to dwell on it. Oh gosh. Oh, that's why. The last 3 are a series, so I basically just decided to pick off the shelf all 3 of them. We have the Inheritance Games by Jennifer Lynn Barnes. And these are YA, and I believe they're mystery mainly. Somehow they're also tagged with fantasy on Goodreads, but I'm not really buying it. I don't know why they would be, but anyway. I think these will be great when I start reading them, but I'm also scared because they're very, very well loved and very, very popular. And yes, I have all 3. I got them in a box set, in my defense. Like, they were not bought separately. It was a package deal. Tobias Hawthorne was worth $46.2 billion, and Tobias Hawthorne didn't leave everything to his grandsons. He didn't leave everything to his daughters. He left some to our lead girl. And I don't know why. It kind of gives Knives Out a little bit, doesn't it? Doesn't the same thing happen in Knives Out? Did I just spoil Knives Out? I feel like that movie's been out for ages by now. So if I spoil anything, it's on Netflix, by the way. Just in case. But it's kind of giving Knives Out a little bit, doesn't it? I'm scared. It's a hype thing, and I think I'll love them, but I'm scared to start them. Also because I've been having a rough patch with YA, to be honest, for the last like year, 1.5 years or so. I just don't read a lot of YA these days. $46.2 billion. Did he leave all of it to her? Or was it just part of it? And are people trying to murder her for it? Because $46.2 billion is a lot of money. People would definitely murder for that. Not me! I would not murder anyone, but I'm saying some people would. Okay, before you get any ideas, I'm just gonna stop you. But yeah, nervous. It's gonna be lovely anyway, isn't it? So, and that was it. That was it for this video, at least. I can, like, again, pull off so many books from my shelves, but these are some of the ones that I'm most terrified of, if you will. So, I'm sure that you guys have books like this as well, that you kind of like, you have a feeling that you'll love them, but at the same time you're very scared to start them. So if you have any examples of that, leave them down below. Also because I am always up for adding more books to my TBR, so I don't know, share with the people. But that is all I got for you guys today. Again, the books will all be linked to in the description box down below if you want to go check them out. I hope you've enjoyed this video. If you did, feel free to hit the thumbs up. And if you want to see more videos like this from me, but also most of all the other booktube stuff, definitely consider sticking around by clicking on the subscribe button. I'm gonna leave you to it now though, and I'm gonna go have dinner because I'm very hungry. But I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you all in the next one. Bye bye!